Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien speaking on Sunday, March 3rd. Wow, March 3rd already, huh? 2 weeks and it'll be St. Patty's. How about that, huh? Well, anyway, I wanted to do a serious video today and put my sympathies in and call it Otto's case and put my sympathies in to Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier. Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, this is your favorite alien, and I sympathize with you on Otto's plight and what happened to him in North Korea and the way President Trump has handled the situation. He should have known as a president, you just can't do what he does, and he just doesn't understand what it is to be president. But as an alien from another planet here, uh, I gotta tell you, I sympathize and let you know there's plenty of blame to go around here. It's not just the North Koreans. And sadly, some of it is Otto's. And some of it is yours and mine, President Trump's. And I'll explain it in a short video here, okay? Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, the United States, as far as I've seen it since I've been here on your planet, is a xenophobic republic. And what I mean by xenophobic is, well, your family is a good example. You guys have been, as long as it doesn't affect us, it's okay. And you hate politics, yet you go voting every time you have an election. That's what the Americans do. They want to, most Americans hate the news. They'll go right through the news and put something else on another channel. They hate politics because, politics is politics. But unfortunately, politics is pervasive all over the place. It runs your lives whether you like it or not. And this is what I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier. For one thing, you have people that'll tell you, Otto knew about North Korea. The United States had no relations, no diplomatic relations with North Korea. What was he doing there? And there's a lot of Americans that's happened to. And you're not the only family that's happened to that over the course of your history. Let me give you an example, Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier. In 1973, there was a coup in Chile, sponsored by the U.S. CIA, because they didn't like Salvador Allende, who got elected in 1970. There was a lot of Americans there. Remember, it was anti-Vietnam War at the time. Vietnam War had just ended, but the anti-Semitism was there. And there was a lot of kids, Otto's age, that were there in Santiago, Chile, Americans. There was this one guy, I forget his name. I wish I could find his name. Well, he spent 25 years trying to get the United States government to admit that they had a problem, and they caused his son's death. What I mean by that is, Augusto Pinochet took a lot of Americans and other nationals that were protesting against him in the coup of 1973, and he put them in the National Soccer Stadium in Santiago, Chile, and they shot him. A bunch of Americans, at least 200, probably. And this poor guy, he was a high guy. I mean, he was a prominent guy. He run one of the big companies of the States. But it destroyed him because he spent the next 25 years trying to get the Americans to admit that they had a hand in this. And this is kind of what President Trump is doing to you guys by saying that Kim Jong-un didn't even know about Otto. Now, that's crazy. Because everything, in North Korea goes by the Kims. But the president should have done this a different way, like other presidents. From Nixon on down, when the family had the situation there, they should have known. Especially, give you an example, the Iran's hostage of 1979. The United States government has never got any reparations from Iran for them. They never gave families good answers for them under the Carter administration and then under the Reagan administration, because they put a shut door policy on this. So see, Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, this is what I'm saying. If you want the President of the United States to give you an honest answer, you're never going to get one because no family ever on this country has ever gotten one. And the problem is because of your so-called xenophobic that you have here. We want to live our little lives away from government. Government controls a lot of your lives. But then again, you control some of it. Like Otto controlled, he should never have gone to North Korea. That's like me here going to my home country of Panama in the 1980s when I knew that Noriega had it for my family. And if I would have gone there, I would have been in prison because I was anti revolutionary policies from Panama. My family was. And that made me part of my family. So you see, Mr. and Mrs. Wormberg, you have to, there's a lot of blame to go around here. But the only way you're going to get Otto's name and give him some peace is if the United States government says, yes, we had a little blame in it. Otto had a little blame in it for being going up there. And Kim Jong-un had blame in it for killing him. And put it up to Kim Jong-un to say that was a sorry mistake or something like that. But he won't admit that. No government. I mean, the Chinese have not admitted about their 1989 killing. You won't find that anywhere. If you're looking for that kind of closure, Mr. and Mrs. Warmbier, you won't get it from the American government. You won't get it from the North Korean government. And you won't get it anywhere else but through your heart. Okay? Thanks.